Okay, everybody, today is the day. Rebel Wolves, the former Witcher 3 devs that started their own development studio, they are doing a gameplay reveal event where they are going to showcase their game for the first time, and it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. I've been keeping an eye on it for a while. I think this game looks really, really good. Honestly, it looks very much like what I was hoping the new FromSoft game was going to be. That's the Switch exclusive, because it's like vampire open world adventure game and lots of Witcher 3 inspirations. This one though is not a co-op game, and it's also not Switch exclusive, which is also good. That also is exciting. And they said that they're going to be showcasing some of the open world stuff. They're going to show about 15 minutes of gameplay from what I understand. If I pull up the little tidbit here, you can see, join us live at Twitch this 21st. You can expect to see in the live stream 15 minutes of gameplay with presentation of features, dev insights in the game's magic, traversal, and combat system, epic music, and more. And that's what we're about to witness. We're about to witness it in 6 minutes. But if you're watching this as a stream clip, it will happen very, very quickly. Dare I say, in the blink of an eye. Okay, buckle in. Here we go. It's starting. For those of you watching the clip, that was fast.
That feeling that someone is watching you.
I do.
And you're like totally alone.
No matter the play style you decide on, it's all about immersion.
Yeah, okay, stop here.
We really did our best to create the world which feels real.
Dude, I love the
There's
Witcher
one more thing
bops.
we have to do.
We're here. I double checked the date because I was like, what if they just moved it a day? What if they pulled a Ghost of Yote? Join us for the actual event in a week.
Hi everyone and welcome to the Blood of Dawnwalker gameplay reveal event. My name is Dominika, I'm the community lead here at Rebel Wolves, and I am joined by a familiar face, a content creator, streamer, YouTuber, and my co-host for today, Lionheart.
Thank you so much, Dominika, and hello everybody. You are joining us here live in the Rebel Wolves studio once again, and this time on the first day of the astronomical summer.
Yeah.
Dominika, you guys really do think about these stream dates, don't you?
Yeah, I think it makes it a bit more fun, you know. We are going to talk about magic today, among other topics. And what's a better occasion than the summer solstice? This is supposed to be the day when our connection to magic is the strongest, and we have all these different rituals and celebrations connected to it, and to the sun and light in general.
I thought they were
That's
just picking a
true.
random
I suppose
date.
It fits the theme really well. It adds a little bit more to that mystery. And of course, we want to thank all of you for joining us live today, whether you're watching along in our own stream or with one of the wonderful content creators who decided to co-stream this event.
Stop it.
Welcome in, everybody. But perhaps this is the first time that you have seen anything related to the Blood of Dawnwalker. So, Dominika, how about we catch them up?
Of course, of course. The Blood of Dawnwalker is the first chapter of a brand new role-playing
It's a little
saga
stuttery, I don't know
by
why.
us here at Rebel Wolves. And it's a dark fantasy, narrative-driven, epic adventure. You know, and it's full of twists and it's great.
It's
It
UE5.
is going to be quite the game. And if you didn't see the previous stream, perhaps you can check out the YouTube channel
Yeah.
as well. The Dawnwalker YouTube channel has all of the information from the previous stream. You will be able to learn more about the world and also like the main concepts of the game as well. But that was last
Twitch, what are
time.
we doing?
Dominika, we know why everybody's here today, right?
Let me refresh.
To it.
No. We have to tease them at least a little. Of course, we are going to show you some gameplay, but we've got to pull it back just a tiny bit. Let's give them an overview of what they can expect, right?
Okay.
So, first, straight out of the gate, it is that gameplay.
Yes, you will see 19-20 minutes of gameplay in total. We are going to show you a fragment of a quest, but we will be focusing on the gameplay features and not on the story, not to spoil anything for you. You'll see 2 examples of how we can approach that one quest. First, from the day perspective, with Cohen as a human, with his sword fighting skills and magic, of course.
I love it when people say
then,
sword.
during the night, with some vampiric abilities at his disposal.
Looks like you're going to get to see a little bit of everything. And what you're going to see, all of it is taken in engine, right?
Yes, we recorded it on PC, on a build from last week actually. We want to show you what the game looks like right now. And yes, you'll see some glitches and imperfections, but this is not the final product, of course. We'll be entering the beta stage of development soon, so we have a lot of polishing still to do, including next iterations of animations, lighting, visuals in general, and optimization, of course.
Of course, but I think it's really refreshing that we're going to get to see where the game really is right now, rather than where maybe it might be if we weren't using the engine.
Yeah.
I think it's really good and deserves some props for that. I think that's really, really cool. But of course, we are not just going to give you gameplay and send you off into the night. That would be crazy. We have some very, very talented devs here at Rebel Wolves, and what we're going to do is we're going to get some insight from them. They're going to dive deeper into all of this content, all of the footage you're going to see. They're going to talk more about the magic system, traversal, and of course, the combat as well. But there is more. It would not be a Rebel Wolf stream without an extra special performance, right?
It will be super special. I cannot wait for you guys to see it, but
Music.
that's not all.
True,
Again.
it just keeps coming.
Lock it in.
In the last couple of weeks, we've been hosting a Q&A over in the Discord for the Blood of Dawnwalker, and Dominica and I are going to do our very best to answer as many of those questions as we can throughout the course of the
Yes,
stream.
I'll be the musical
We will also have some
talent.
people checking in on the live chat, so do get some questions there. You never know. They might just make it through to us.
Yeah. Okay, so without further ado, let's see some gameplay of the Blood of Dawnwalker. And for those of you wondering, yes, it will be available in 4K on YouTube right afterwards.
Take it away.
Let's go, lightweight, baby. Yeah, buddy. I like that title sequence. That's cool. Yeah, I'm flute guy this time around. Actual gameplay. They're like, for the love of God, don't think that this is final. Which is good. I respect this way more than like something fake. Show me the real thing.
Hello, my name is Daniel Sadowski and I'm the design director at Rebel Wolves. I would like to welcome you to the Blood of Dawnwalker summer gameplay video. Our game
22
is a
days.
story-driven, open-world dark fantasy RPG set in medieval Europe. The game is currently in pre-beta stage, and what we are going to show you is just a part of one of the mid-game quests. It's a really cool story involving legendary swords and a haunted almshouse, but today we'll focus on showcasing our gameplay systems.
Okay.
We're starting on the outskirts of Svatro, the game's largest city and the capital of Vale Sangora. From here, we could head anywhere the eye can see, explore ancient
That
ruins,
mountain?
or sabotage vampire blood transports. But it's not just about where or when you go. It's also about how you approach the main quest and shape the story, making each playthrough uniquely your own.
Okay.
For now, we're following the road. Cohen is on his way to the city's cathedral, chasing leads about a powerful weapon said to be hidden in its crypts.
Okay.
But first, we'll have to deal with some bandits who camped out by the main road.
Classic.
Traveling through Vale Sangora is never boring. The world is dense with quests, random encounters, and locations steep in lore. This will be a great opportunity to show you our combat system. Our goal was to make the player feel like a real swordmaster who closely observes his enemies. We'll begin this fight by using acrid dust to stun one of the enemies. Now, when you attack, you choose one of 4 directions: up, down, left, or right, in order to hit the opponent where he's unable to parry.
KCD
And similarly,
inspirations?
when defending, you have to take note of the enemy's intent and the direction of the attack. On the left side of the screen, just above Cohen's
For
health,
honor
you
as well,
have
yeah.
activation charges that will be filled in with each successful attack, block, and parry. Once they are full, you can use one of the active abilities which allow you to take a more tactical approach to fighting. We started the fight by throwing some acrid dust. And now let's cast Burning Blood. It's a hex which boils the enemy's blood and burns their skin, dealing physical damage over time. Alright, time to finish this fight. Let's use the final activation charge to cast the artery attack, which actually decapitated the last opponent. Our hero quickly dispatched the bandits, so let's loot a few items they've left behind and open the inventory. First of all, let's replenish our health by eating something, and then take a closer look at this cool-looking weapon we just picked up.
The chopper.
Ah, it has better stats than our current weapon, so let's equip it right now. We've also leveled up, so let's use this opportunity to spend the newly acquired skill point in one of Cohen's skill trees. The skills in the Blood of Dawnwalker are divided into 3 trees, one for human, one for vampire, and one shared between the two. We also have an active abilities panel. We can use it to unlock additional abilities to use during combat. Note that during the day, the health bar is not regenerating. You need to find consumables like the one we've just eaten. The hexes we've just used also consume some of Cohen's health. Be aware of that.
Okay.
The way our magic system works, there's always a price to pay for manipulating reality. But we can make it sting a bit less. Let's level up the Frugal Witchcraft skill, so next time we'll cast a hex, it'll consume fewer of Cohen's health points. Now that we've wrapped up the encounter with the bandits, we can be on our way to get inside the city. Right now, Cohen hasn't done enough to ruffle the Vampire Lord's feathers, so the gods will just wave us through. But the more damage you cause, the more suspicious and aggressive they'll become. So when you play the game yourself, you'll have to decide whether you want to challenge the vampires openly, or lay low until you're ready to strike and surprise them.
I like that. You mean actual consequence? Madness!
Out of my face.
This is the rich district of the city, Silberkreis. There's also Altenmarkt, Neustadt, and the Middens. Each of the boroughs has its own feel and character.
Get your stinking ass out of here.
I was just passing through, I swear. I got tired and sat down and started begging.
Looming high over the city is Brancis's castle, Greifberg. He took it over when he slaughtered the human ruler of the valley, Skender, as shown in the trailer we shared with you earlier in January this year. In order to complete the main quest and save your family, you'll have to storm the castle, alone or with help of friendly NPCs. We could do it right now if we wanted, but it would be super challenging.
No more drink for you, my friend. Go home.
Oh, let me. I just want to. Oh, let me in.
You made a mess, and it's not that kind of inn.
Let's check the map. The cathedral is really close. There's plenty of other places to see and things to do here. A couple of inns, a medic, a blacksmith, an armorer, and other merchants. You can see that not only the vampires came out of the shadows. This creature on the right is called an Uriash. Look around, especially at night, and you'll learn humans have lots to fear, not just the vampires. And here we can see guards pounding on some poor guy's doors.
What is it about? Singing songs that mocked him and the faith. Who told you this nonsense? Was it Livia?
It's just one of many different community scenes we're implementing in the game. Watch them closely when you play, as they might point you to new quests and hidden treasures, or signal changes in the game's world.
Oh, I like that.
Again.
Give me a reason to listen to NPCs rambling about stuff.
Ouch. I don't want to say it, Mum,
It's a prayer. It's what we have to say. Go on.
I humbly beg of thee, protect
Okay, we are at the cathedral gates. Again, since Cohen isn't yet wanted by the vampire regime, and it's daytime, we can simply walk inside.
Yeah, for being an alpha, this is very solid. Like, I understand not many people have probably seen a lot of alpha showcases or alpha gameplay demos and stuff because they don't tend to show them to the public. But for alpha, it's very
Baptism of a
good.
newborn is a solemn moment, doubly so. A new life joins our flock, bringing happiness to its parents and to the congregation.
Look like you're about to drop it.
Natus ex sanguine est, alitur sanguine, et in sanguine morietur. Ego te baptizo in nomine Dei. Amen.
It's crazy. They're even praying to Todd in this game, too. It's wild.
Don't I know you from somewhere, young man? Laslia, maybe.
Oh, I remember that timer.
I'm sorry, but you must be mistaken.
Am I? Perhaps. Perhaps. My memory isn't what it used to be. Come with me. I'll take your confession.
Thank you, but I have no need for confession.
Ah. So you deem your conscience clear?
I wouldn't go that far.
That's a trick question.
But I'm sure you're a busy man, Father. So while I appreciate the offer, I feel that my soul shouldn't be your priority.
I won't press the matter. You are quite correct. I have many other duties to attend to. But please remember that in order to be saved, we all need to repent. Myself included. I hope we can speak again soon. Good day to you, Cohen.
Mysterious.
What we saw right here was just one of many cutscenes we recorded for the game, which smoothly transitioned into a dialogue scene. We use cutscenes to highlight key scenes or showcase interesting bits of lore. Like this blood baptism. Creepy, isn't it? The core feature of the Blood of Dawnwalker is the dual gameplay loop. Remember, Cohen may be a human during the day, but he turns into a vampire at night and has a different set of skills at his disposal. And this is just one variable that affects our quests. Depending on when you tackle a particular quest, what choices you've made earlier, whom you befriended, or whom you've angered, your gameplay and story experience will be very, very different. So each quest is a complex structure with multiple possible paths leading to the end goal. We maximize players' freedom and agency, offering you a narrative sandbox to play in. I wonder what secrets may be concealed up there, just beyond Cohen's reach. And how do we get there? It's impossible to do during the day, but come night, it's an entirely different story. Let us explain what we mean by taking our current quest as an example. During the day, we got inside the cathedral without any problems, since it's open for all to see and Cohen doesn't yet stand out from the crowd. The scaffolds, though, are outside of his reach. But climbing them won't be a problem for the vampire, who has many more exploration abilities at his disposal. Bear in mind, Cohen has not completed the quest yet. What's more, there are still a few clues to be found in order to solve this story. It's worth mentioning that narrative sandbox also means that we may completely abandon this quest and follow a different path to defeat Brensis. For today, we're focusing on the gameplay part, so let's see how we could tackle this particular quest during the night. We're starting right after dusk, as a vampire, on the rooftops of Svatro. Right now, we have 22 days left to complete this goal. This counter is always displayed and you will be warned each time it's pushed forward. So you have to be aware of the time, and it's more of a resource you will be spending than a racing clock.
Okay.
As a vampire, you'll see and experience the world from a different perspective. You can travel quickly and easily access places beyond the reach of regular humans. Let us show you what we mean. This is Shadow Step, a unique vampiric ability allowing Cohen to jump to almost any place within his reach. Now let's take a good look around using the focus mode. This ability highlights objects of interest and loot. And there is something right here. This time it's just some items to grab, but on other occasions, who knows, you might come across a hidden quest. Looks like our health is quite low. This is because, as a vampire, your health bar also represents your hunger level, and you start each night thirsting for blood.
Yeah, buddy.
Remember, you have to quench this appetite in order to make full use of your vampire abilities, and rein in your monstrous nature around NPCs. Otherwise, you may end up draining someone important, which may lead to unpredictable consequences.
So
we'd better feed them.
If you don't
Maybe
feed,
on
like he'll feed
someone who is
uncontrollably?
standing all alone, like this drunkard. Let's grab him and use Voracious Bite ability. Unless you lose control due to hunger, you get to decide how much blood to drink.
Okay.
You can drain just a bit and knock your victim unconscious, or go all the way and kill them. And if you're adamant you don't want to hurt innocent humans, you can drink from animals and some other creatures.
Oh, that's going to be a fun challenge run.
Finally, we are at the cathedral, but it seems to be closed for the night, and the entrance gate is well guarded.
I see a window.
Let's find another way in.
Yeah, it is like...
Shadow Step is not the only vampiric ability you're gonna learn
walking
during your
on walls.
playthrough. Cohen can also use plane shift to scale walls and even ceilings smoothly.
Ooh, look how smooth that is. It is like Vampire and The Witcher had a
will
baby.
allow us to explore every nook and cranny of the cathedral.
And you guys know I like Vampire.
Better be quiet. Is that Voyeurs Xanthe? What the hell is she doing here? What is she doing? Is that a ritual for the blood gods? They're covering up the old paintings. Why? One of the workers must have left it. Seems that the cathedral complex is quite big. The main building, cloisters, inner courtyard. The entrance to the crypt could be anywhere. Won't get anything done just standing around. Still.
This was a scene investigation, a mechanic we used to zoom in on and showcase key clues. This time we had a chance to learn more about the vampire's plans. Looks like they're keen to cover up the old frescoes, so that's something we could take a look at. This way we could learn more about the cathedral's past. Looks like we aren't alone here. Underneath us there's a group of blood guards, soldiers hooked up on vampire blood, which makes them stronger. And one of Brances's vampire allies. It's Xanthe, the oldest vampire in Vale Sangora, and quite a powerful lady. Let's descend and check what's going on.
Oh, we're just going straight down. Okay, we're gonna stealthily listen. I was like, are you just gonna walk up and say hi? Seems like a bad idea.
Don't think I don't see you skulking in the shadows.
Ooh.
Come out.
Mommy?
Interfering
Oh.
with my task. Who are you?
Not that kind of vampire.
It doesn't matter.
Very well. I don't have time for interruptions. Let us dispose of him. Quickly. You've withstood it. Fascinating.
Cohen is using his claws to attack when in vampire form. Bloodguards are dual-wielding opponents. Their attacks are pretty strong. Of course, even when fighting with claws, combat is still directional. Don't worry, Cohen can still use his sword as a vampire.
You haven't lived long.
Dude.
Only after defeating all three of the Bloodguards, Xanthi deems Cohen worthy of a challenge, and she descends to face him. She uses her blood control powers to cast a multitude of attacks, like her blood whips, that hit Cohen from left and right. Xanthi is protected by a powerful vampire ability. Once her stamina runs out, Cohen will have an opportunity to strike and deal some damage. But be careful, cause Xanthi is quick to counterattack, and she will also try to restore her blood. Meanwhile, look at the indicator just below her health and stamina. It's a timer for the boiling blood skill that you've seen in the CGI trailer. So, if we don't hurry, the timer goes down to 0, and Cohen will eventually explode. And we're dead.
Oops.
Remember, we were only mid-game here, and Xanthi is one of the game's most punishing enemies. Defeating her right here and right now is very much possible, but it would be hellishly difficult. A fun challenge for hardcore players.
But they let you try, if you want.
And we are back, and I hope you enjoyed that as much as
Cast
I did.
upon the blood
Now,
squirt.
I've been lucky enough to see this footage quite a few times now, and I feel like I get excited over something different every single time I see it.
And you're going to probably watch it again after the stream, aren't you?
Okay, you know me too well.
Okay, so what's your favorite part so far?
So far, I think the day and night cycle, the fact that the same quest can feel so different if I complete in the day. I could be walking into the cathedral, no problem, I meet Suspicious Priest Man.
Florin.
That's it, Suspicious Priest Man. But by night, I can't walk through the doors, I have to jump through the rafters, and, well, Florin is nowhere to be found, but Xanthi and her bodyguards are staring me down. It's just so different.
Yeah, and it is just a small part of it, because we could go back, load the game, and try to explore the cathedral without drawing anyone's attention. We could also try to get to Xanthi when she's not surrounded by the Bloodguards. And just like other vampire allies of Brancis, she also has her own quest line. So we could try to explore that and, you know, find out more about her past, her motivations, and maybe even try reasoning with her.
She does not look reasonable. I'm not gonna lie. She does not look reasonable, but
she does
look scary. So I will do my best to reason with her. That is a great idea. Even within the day and night, the fact that so much can change based on what I do, I think that's really, really fun. It feels like it's going to be so different each time.
Yeah, with the narrative sandbox, you just weave together all these different stories and create your own unique adventure. So when, how, or if you decide to explore a quest really does matter for you, for your experience, but also for the world and people living there.
Sounds like there's going to be a lot of changes in Vale Sangora, but you mentioned people,
I can change her.
We promised
I
the
can
people,
save her. I can fix her.
That we would answer some of those questions, and I came prepared. So, this first question, I'm going to put you straight on the spot here.
Let's go.
And it comes from, I hope I've pronounced your name right, I'm so sorry if I didn't, Thrassel. And it is the big one, because it talks matters of the heart. Will the Blood of Dawnwalker have any romance mechanics? And If it does, how will they affect the story?
Okay, so this is a very popular question indeed, right? So yes, there will be 3 romance options, and you know, Cohen is young, he's going on an adventure, he'll meet a lot of people there, and it's only natural that he can develop some feelings and bonds with other people, right? Of course, it will be purely optional, and it will affect his story, but on a more personal level.
Okay. I can't wait to see people start shipping Cohen. I'm going to be honest, and I will be rewatching this afterwards to see what you're all saying. So, live chat, I need hashtag Team Brentsis everywhere immediately. Sorry. I need it, and I will accept absolutely no apologies for it. But we want to get through these thick and fast. And our next question here comes from Chris, and very conveniently, it is sort of time related. So, Chris wants to know, how will players differentiate between a quest that will progress the day-night time mechanic and those that won't?
Okay, so this will be always made very clear to you. It will be marked with this small hourglass icon. You could actually see it in the gameplay a moment ago during the dialogue scene with Florian the priest.
Suspicious priest.
The suspicious priest man. Yeah, so if we chose the confession option, the time would actually push forward, and it works the same with quests. So you'll see exactly how much time will pass when you complete any given quest, and even part of that quest. So you can actually make some choices. You can decide on your own, you know, make an informed decision if you want to, of course. And if you just want to explore the world for a while, relax, time will not move at all.
I like that. I was worried initially, would time be something that was constantly over my shoulder, worrying me, ticking away, but it's a resource, right? Not a restriction.
Exactly.
And I think that's so cool because you can
It's a good
choose
distinction.
to spend it. But if I
like
just
that.
want to explore Vale Sangora, I want to go for a wander and see, I can do exactly
absolutely.
That's how I want the time mechanic to feel. So that's
Imagine failing
that's
to
exciting.
feed during night and then killing your
we have got
romance.
so many more questions.
If that's a
The
thing that
list
could happen,
goes
that'd be
on and
cool.
on, but we promised you more than just that. And I think it's a perfect time to send people over to those wonderful Rebel Wolves devs to give us a little bit more insight.
Yes, and we will meet now with our senior quest designer, Patryk Fijałkowski, and layout artist Zuzanna Suska, who will tell you more about magic. And then our design director, Daniel Sadowski, and senior combat designer, Janek Tyszka, will jump into the topic of traversal and then, of course, combat. Take it away, guys.
Yeah, buddy.
You know what? I'm really glad that it's daytime.
Really? Why?
Well, because I would just freak out in the woods at night.
No kidding.
Right? Just too many creepy stuff in the dark. But I guess it's a good place to talk about magic.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I don't know about you, but I really do believe in magic. But the kind of magic that we have in our game. So, more dark and ritualistic rather than glowing effects and rainbow auras.
Yeah, that's actually what I really like about our approach. That magic feels dangerous, like something you just shouldn't tamper with.
Oh yeah.
It's, I don't know, more organic. It revolves around blood or heat or the way the air pulses and distorts.
I think it ties to the world itself. Some places just feel different. They're connected to magic somehow or have remnants of it. You will feel it when you enter. Like old spell-casting grounds, cursed sites, they all stand out.
We even build specific cues for those spots, subtle signals that something just not quite right. You'll notice things like moths behaving in oddly mysterious ways, a natural fog, warped light, sometimes even some visual distortions. They are small things, but they will let you know that this isn't just another piece of scenery.
Whatever lens they're using, I love it.
Ever get that feeling that someone is watching you, even if you're like totally alone?
Well, just one of the many reasons why I don't like woods at night.
Okay. I think this is kind of the feeling we want to go for in our game. So it's not about what you see, it's about what creeps under your skin.
And speaking of skin, Zuza, I think it's worth mentioning that
Zuza.
in order to even cast spells, Cohen has to literally carve runes into
Time
his
warp,
own
it's just a
body,
jump to the
like
left.
a twisted tattoo
Dude.
sleeve, which is insane, but also, not gonna lie, pretty metal.
Carving rune into your own flesh is bold, brutal, and there is no going back.
That
But
wins comment of the
You
day.
need to know how
Okay,
to do it
Seth,
right.
that wins
and
it.
this knowledge is scattered around the game world. So, you go explore, you find forgotten spells, and bit by bit you grow stronger.
Yeah, that's right.
Now we're going to show you what it's like to feed on a sheep.
One thing I really love about the magic and the spells is that every single spell can be upgraded. So you're not stuck on level 1 forever. And every time you unlock a new tier, it really feels like you're evolving, not just going through the motions.
And it's not a combat-heavy magic system, right? It's more strategic. Many spells revolve around support, buffs, and debuffs.
Yeah, and here comes my next question to you, Patrick.
I'm listening.
Do you have your favorite spell?
Oh, well, there are a few. Rapid Scarring is one. I think it's interesting because it's more of a trade-off.
Oh, yeah.
Cohen's runes beat hard for a moment, and while doing so, Cohen's health replenishes, but at the same time, the maximum HP temporarily drops.
Oh yeah, risk and reward. So makes you think twice before you use it.
Exactly. But, you know, we also have combat spells, like Burning Blood, for example, which I think has a really appropriate name.
Totally. Enemies start screaming in pain right away. Their skin breaks
Twitch is
out in
struggling
blisters,
today.
and if they die while it's still active, boom, dealing heavy damage around them. Delightful, really.
And nasty. And useful in crowds. So do you, Zuza, have some favorite spells? Besides Burning Blood, obviously?
Well, I think Feral Mind.
Ooh, nice.
Because it's really oddly satisfying seeing your enemies under cast of this spell. Their head and neck start rotting, eyes turn white, and they just snap. Start attacking everything around them.
I really dig the way how we show it visually. They're like wild animals.
Yeah, but that's just the beginning. Because we have even non-combat stuff like Compulso. Cohen can literally drag secrets out from the dead.
For me, as a quest designer, this is really an awesome tool to tell stories. It's always optional, but if you use it, you may uncover different quest branches, gain some valuable info, or sometimes even flip the context of an entire plotline.
What's important here, though, is that Cohen is a Dawnwalker. So he can use those magic spells only during the day.
Because then his runes are active, like
Yeah.
bloody and raw, but at night they heal because of his vampiric skills. So they become just scars.
I think this is one of the key elements of being a vampire. It's that they just don't use magic. I mean, even if they're powerful creatures, their power comes from a completely different place. I don't know, maybe we can say that it's rooted in their instinct?
Either that, or they absorb it by draining another vampire. So it's really a completely different experience than using magic. And we really want to show what it's like for Cohen to live between those two realities, not just visually, but in how he experiences the world.
Not good. Bad. Dude, you can't fix her. Move on. Move on, dude. Not worth it. Just to know for all you guys, if you're ever dating someone or married to someone and they start whispering in Latin and then their skin starts peeling off into weird runes, leave. Go somewhere else. Or sharpen your sword. Honestly, maybe that is a good preparatory thing. Through the shadows.
You know, I can't believe that already more than 3 years have passed since we started working on the Blood of Dawnwalker.
Quite a journey, wasn't it? Especially since it's a brand new game with a brand new world and, well, brand new characters.
Yeah, we had to figure out everything from scratch. What the game's about, what the world is, who Cohen, our main hero, is, and of course how it all fits together.
Yeah, we really did our best to create the world which feels real. The city, all the villages, it all feels pretty unique.
Yeah, Svartrau, for example, has this urban medieval atmosphere, which we contrast with quiet villages like Laslia, where Cohen is from.
Well, we also have swamps, forests, mountains.
Yeah, so the priest
caves,
actually did know
ruins,
him.
and everything is there for a
They didn't really
reason
touch on
to,
that, but
you know, tell the story.
he's
I
from
even have my
Laslia,
favorite
which
tree.
the priest
the
asked him
narrative
if he was
does
from
go
there.
deep, doesn't it? And I mean, that wasn't the only thing that was important to us. Every game element had to make sense from a gameplay perspective as well.
Yeah, that's why we had to make exploration both fun and intuitive. So things like well-functioning map is a must-have.
Yeah, and I think that's what's cool about our game is that even from almost the very beginning, the whole world, the whole map is fully accessible to the player.
That's what I love. You can just dive into the world and everything opens up. You can do what you want to do. And there is so much to do and there's so much to discover.
Yeah, and not just the settlements, of course. There are other cool places, like shrines, haunted sites, bandit camps.
Hidden monster nests or treasure spots.
Of course, and much more. And I mean, the key is, of course, observation and exploration, if you want to uncover these secrets.
Yeah.
But you never have to go too far before stumbling upon something interesting.
Which is actually the main reason we are here today. Cohen needs to reach those points of interest somehow.
Indeed, and since everything in our game is tied to this duality of our main character, both human and vampire sides of Cohen bring unique elements to the game. Even the way you explore changes depending on time.
Yeah, during the day, Cohen
It's at max, fam.
walks, runs,
The volume.
jumps, you know, human stuff.
Yeah, but then the night comes and everything changes.
It's just balanced quiet. I don't know what the deal is.
So, night. That's when Cohen's vampiric side takes over, and he gains access to new vampiric abilities that were previously hidden.
Yeah, when we were first talking about what cool things Cohen could do during the night, we were like, it has to feel like you're in the Matrix, you know? You plug in and suddenly you can do all of those cool things that you wouldn't be able to do otherwise. Bend reality to your will.
So, which of those vampiric abilities is your favorite?
I think for me it's Shadow Step. I think it really adds a cool layer to the game. And even in the early prototypes, it was just so fun to, for example, traverse the rooftops using that abilities. I would run on a rooftop, jump into the air, shadow step onto another rooftop. It just made me feel real powerful.
Yeah, it's extremely cool, but you know, for me it's more of a plane shift. The way I can walk on walls or walk upside down on a ceiling, it makes me feel like I'm a hunter sneaking up upon a unsuspecting prey.
Yeah, and let's not forget about Claw Ride, which allows you to quickly scale down walls or mountain cliffs using Cohen's vampire claws. It's also super effective at surprising enemies.
Yeah, there are so many other abilities. One more, actually, allows Cohen to travel super fast through the valley.
Yeah, that's true. It's a cool alternative to the default fast travel option.
Yeah, and that's what's great, all the different things you can do. You can even solely play as a human or as a vampire. It's all up to your preferences.
And that's the beauty of it.
I was
No
gonna
matter the
ask, like,
playstyle
can you do a
decide on,
like human
it's all
only
about
playthrough?
immersion and the freedom of choice.
And vampires.
And vampires.
Oh yeah, that's not good. Blades and claws.
Do you remember our first conversations we had about the combat in the Blood of Dawnwalker?
Yeah, I remember we had this very long list of ideas and things we wanted to achieve, didn't we?
Yeah, tricky thing, right? Whenever you think of dark fantasy or vampires, very specific stuff comes to mind. Same goes for medieval, gritty, or grounded.
Yeah, and we wanted to achieve something that felt like real medieval sword fight, where every swing, every block, it carried weight.
Yeah, it had to be challenging for sure, but also accessible and adjustable for difficulty levels. And that also makes perfect sense from the story perspective. You know, Cohen was trained by his father, that's all he knows. He never picked up a bow, never trained with axes. Sword is his domain.
As is yours, actually, right? I mean, your real-life sword fighting experience brought a lot to the project, and the idea to add directionality to our game's combat, well, that was a true game changer.
Totally. We wanted combat to be both immersive and cinematic.
Yeah, and it works. I mean, you feel like you are in the fight. You have to watch the enemy, watch from which direction they attack, block that direction, and then counterattack correctly. You cannot just start button mashing and hope for the best. And when more enemies appear, things get a little bit more interesting, don't they?
Yeah, combat is designed not only for duels, but for one versus many also. So when you are fighting a group, they are smart. They are not just waiting their turn. They swap around, switch positions, flank you, rotate around you, work together to take you down.
And I think that's what I love the most about our game. It doesn't just look cool. The combat is also tactical.
Yeah, we actually took a lot of inspirations from tabletop RPGs and the question, how do you want to do this? And it's pretty funny because at first we thought that complexity of combats could be a little bit too overwhelming for less agile players.
Less agile
yeah, but then
players.
iteration after iteration, playtest after playtest, we managed to find a sweet spot.
Yeah, on lower difficulty levels, combat still requires some focus. That's for sure, but enemies are more forgiving and you have more time to react.
That was important to us. We wanted the game to be fun to both more experienced players as well as those who just want to focus more on the story.
Thank you, Koro.
So, the combat at night. As a vampire, Cohen gains access to new options.
Yeah, you can switch to fighting with claws. It's still directional, but it's more instinctive, more savage. And of
Yeah,
course,
Anthony, you
vampires
said it,
can
I was
still
thinking
fight
it.
with swords and mix sword combat with pure vampiric savagery.
We have even more differences between day and night from the combat perspective.
True, as a human, you can lay down your sword and let the fists do the talking.
Good old fist fights. When you
Oh,
want to
no,
feel
we're
the
frozen.
weight of each
There you go.
punch, whether you're taking it or throwing it.
And during daytime, you have access to magic, which is inaccessible to vampires.
Yeah, as a vampire, however, you gain access to new cool powers, blood-fueled ones.
And speaking of blood, in the blood of Dawnwalker, health is of course tied to this dual day versus night gameplay loop that we have.
Yeah, Cohen has standard health bar with no regeneration over time.
But during the night, blood hunger kicks in.
Yeah, his health bar splits into segments, and when he drops into the lowest one, the blood hunger fully kicks in.
Yeah, and that's not just cosmetic. If Cohen is hungry and you're not careful, he may even devour someone he cares about.
Like your romance?
So we've had to make sure that it's never vague. Player will get visual and audio cues.
Yeah, and unlike daytime, health regenerates passively at night, but only up to a certain point. Beyond that, if you want to fully recover, you need to feed.
Yeah, if you want to fully regenerate, you need to drink human blood, or animal blood, or even blood vials.
There is also an option to drink vampire blood, but let's just say, interesting things start to happen when you do that.
Superpowers. Wonder if you can do a vampire blood only run.
We shared a lot today, but there's still so much more to look forward to.
Exactly so. And before we wrap up, there's one more thing we have to do.
Musical performance.
Will you do the honors?
I thought he was about to light like that lady, like maybe it is. No, okay. I thought it was gonna be like burning her at the stake as a vampire or something, and I was like, oh, they're just casually gonna do that. But okay, no, I'm just sick. Then a little musical presentation. So as this plays out, I will say overall, my general philosophy is, you know, show, don't tell. It's tough to hear a lot of descriptions even for certain gameplay mechanics and not see them. Like they describe the one that like causes, it's almost like a berserk effect on enemies. It's tough to describe that, but not just show it. You know, because I can use my imagination to imagine it, but I'd rather you just show me what that ability is. Or like they mentioned, their alternative to fast travel, but they didn't have gameplay to you know, echo it. That's just frustrating me. I'm like, show it. Is he gonna fight to defend his woman? Guys, you still have time to run. If she starts glowing, it's too late. Fair reaction. Wait, is this his mom and dad? Are we seeing the origin story? And he's the demon? Oh, she did.
Welcome back, everybody. Dominica and I are still here, and we are ready to answer even more of your questions. But first, I have to talk about the combat system. We now know that it's directional combat.
Oh no, to be clear, that was live action.
The world around Cohen and on his enemies instead of being introverted.
Yeah. So you can immerse yourself in each encounter, observe your enemies, their movements. And what I really like about this as well is that it's very responsive. So you can quickly change your mind and pick a different attack.
Oh, that was Unreal Engine 6.
Or block, or use a skill instead.
I've been lucky enough to play around with it a little bit, and one of the things I really enjoyed about flipping the directional combat, I didn't feel like I needed to spend 6 hours working out how to do it, only to then struggle. It felt so intuitive and so quick to learn, but really enjoyable. It was fast, it was frantic, but it just made each fight worth being in. It was so epic. It was so much fun.
Yeah. We took our time to polish it and just make it, you know, fun and just feel great to play.
Well, it felt it when I got my hands on it, I won't lie. And speaking of well-polished, speaking of epic, that new song as well.
It is a great song, isn't it? It was composed by our in-house composer, Nikola Kołodziejczyk, who is, of course, joined by a team of super talented musicians. And you could actually see him in the video playing this weird instrument called hurdy-gurdy.
Hurdy-gurdy.
Okay. We're going to move on as fast as possible.
There's no way that's real.
I have to say hurdy-gurdy more than once.
I'm Googling it.
Hurdy-gurdy. Back to the questions we go. I am still prepared.
Dude, it is real.
Dominica comes from Professor CGK. Now, this is a really interesting
Hurdy-gurdy.
question. We've seen that obviously there's so many decisions in the blood of Dawnwalker, but will some of those decisions make you more or less vampire?
I'm guessing drinking
This is such a
vampire
great
blood
question.
will.
And there's so many layers to it because, so first we have the skill tree.
It's that
of course,
guitar
right?
thing
So
with the
you will
crank.
enhance your abilities, and that will make you, of course, more and more of a vampire. Then we have the blood drinking. You can choose to drink human blood, you can choose to drink animal blood. And I would say that choosing human blood, you know, will make you a bit more of a vampire, get you more to the vampire side, especially that you can also drain blood of some important NPCs. Next, you can skip time and try to play only at night, fully embracing your vampiric side.
That's interesting.
And there's, of course,
Skip
the
time to
narrative
only
layer.
play at
So
night or
all
day.
the different stories and quests and decisions you have to make, and how you will personally feel about them, but also what kind of consequences they might bring.
Okay, so Professor CGK, the answer was yes, 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 and yes.
And yes.
Fantastic. Okay, love to see it. Amazing. Next question. We're going to go through as many as we can, and it comes from someone who's actually quite active in our community Discord. It comes from Biggie. So thank you for this question, Biggie. They want to know, is there an alignment or a reputation system with the main factions? So the humans, the vampires, or will things change on more an individual basis?
Okay, so there are two sides to this question as well. And we have this global notoriety system. So basically, the more visible action you take against Brancis, the more reputation or notoriety you will gain. And Brancis will take notice, and he will try to make your life more difficult, issuing all these different edicts. And they will affect you, but they will also affect the world and other people. Yeah, but it might also open up some new possibilities for you, you know, at the same time. I'm sure that enemies of the Brancis regime will appreciate your infamy here.
That makes sense. I mean, the enemy of my enemy is my friend, right? So that does make sense.
So it's a global
That's
system,
on the
not
broader
faction
side, but
specific.
as you've mentioned before, each individual NPC will kind of have an impact too, right?
Yeah, that's the other side. So it's not strictly reputation.
Thank you, Long
but
Shot
again,
Lazarus,
your
by the way. Thank
decisions
you.
will
Very
matter.
generous.
So depending on them, some people might be more or less inclined to work with you or just to help you out.
Okay, well, it feels like there's going to be an impactful decision at pretty much every single corner. Next question. We are getting through them as thick and as fast as we can. Now, previously we'd mentioned that the Blood of Dawnwalker will have no microtransactions, which I am very much a fan of. We have a couple of questions that I'm going to kind of merge together from Solandis and Kaido. They've asked whether the Blood of Dawnwalker is going to have any sort of early access or demo, maybe tied to some sort of digital deluxe or something like that.
We're not planning any early access or demos. We want to focus on delivering a great experience for you guys at launch. And what I can also say is that we are not going to have any kind of in-game digital perks connected to pre-orders or other paywalls because we just want to treat everyone the same.
I mean, that seems reasonable. You shouldn't be
How
punished for
dare
finding
you.
the Blood of Dawnwalker late, right? We have the first stream up on the YouTube channel. Maybe
Yeah,
you
but
find
what
us in
about the
third
XP
one.
boost?
I like that.
Exactly.
Yes.
But I think that's fair. I think it's nice to deliver the game as intended to all the players on the launch day.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Okay. Now, this next question comes from, if I counted all of the names that have asked basically this question, we would be here until the full Wolf Moon. It is related to languages. Dominica, which languages will the Blood of Dawnwalker launch supporting?
Okay, so there is a lot. So I have a cheat sheet prepared here so I can read them all to you and not miss anything. So yes, so first of all, we'll have full localization, meaning like a full VO, subtitles, UI elements, everything basically in English, French, Italian, German, Spanish, and Polish. And then we are going to have the text localization, meaning subtitles and UI elements in Brazilian Portuguese, Mexican Spanish, Korean, traditional Chinese, simplified Chinese, Japanese, Turkish, Czech, and Hungarian.
Fantastic. That is a lot. The cheat sheet was smart.
Yeah.
That was smart. Now, that is a lot of languages, but we know that it's a deeply personal experience when you're playing a game, so I'll ask the greedy question. Is there any possibility of supporting other languages in future?
We know that localization is super important to experience a game properly, and we're doing our best to have as many options as we can. And we will be looking into more. However, we cannot promise anything at this moment, so you know it might be not possible to have any other localization options for the launch or even later. We'll see. We'll let you know if anything changes.
Makes sense.
It's a lot.
What we're promising,
Seems like a lot.
rather than promise and not get there.
Yeah.
Okay, I like it. But much like Cohen, we are starting to run out of time. But we still have so many questions. So I know you're going to be answering even more questions in Discord after the stream, right?
Yes, I do want to answer as many of your questions as we can without spoiling anything, of course. So head over to our Discord server if you want to learn more about the Blood of Dawnwalker. And I will be joining you guys in a few moments. Just need a short break first. Live streams are stressful, you guys, honestly. And yeah, but hey, no fire alarm today.
No fire alarm yet, okay? The studio is haunted. That painting has it in for me. I'm sure of it, but...
That's true.
But we don't just have Discord, of course, though you should be there. There are so many social that you can use to keep up to date with the Blood of Dawnwalker and all of the news coming out over the next year or so.
Yes, and you should have them all popping
Next
up on the
year
screen
or
right
so.
about now. And remember, the game is releasing in 2026, and you can wishlist it already on Steam, PlayStation Store, and Xbox Store.
Okay.
You can indeed. That's where you should go right after the Discord Q&A.
Yeah.
But that is it from us. It has been an absolute pleasure to have you here, Dominica.
So overall, what did you guys think? They're wrapping up. Overall, what did you think? I think a lot of what they showed was really promising. I like it. For being an alpha, it's looking pretty good because they still have probably a year plus to polish. So I think overall, it's looking good. I like the idea of a lot of things that they're doing gameplay wise. And, you know, anything we can nitpick, like the combat animations weren't super tight. Like, yeah, it's going to polish up. In a year when we're like a few months out from launch, if it still looks like that, then I think it's fair to maybe express some concern. But being so early, stuff gets tightened up and improved significantly. Overall, I think a lot of it looked quite promising. I also love that they're even balancing and building it out in a way where they're open to like, you know, full night runs. So if you want to play through the entire game just at night, you can do that, they're saying. If you want to play through the whole game just in the daytime and ignore the vampire stuff, you can do that. That's crazy to me. But I mean, if they actually are able to deliver on that, that's really exciting. As for like the complexity of some of the missions and some of the stuff they're doing, I mean, it's incredibly ambitious. It's very ambitious. I'm not sure if I totally like believe it yet. You know, I'm not sure. Just because to have totally different routes for every quest, for side quests, for all of that to change based on how like corrupted by the vampiricism you are. I don't know. It's just very, very, very ambitious, but it excites me, and it's something that's interesting at the very least. I'm intrigued. You know, there are 100 devs. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it's a smaller team for sure. But I think if you keep your expectations about like, you know, it's probably going to be a pretty solid AA experience. I think it could be really intriguing. Some of the stuff they showed, you know, with combat, some of the stuff they showed in terms of just the overall scale, it again gave me strong vampire vibes. Especially like the claw gameplay and some of the like dodging animations and stuff and some of the UI. It did remind me a lot of Vampire, which is not a bad thing. I really like Vampire, but Vampire was very clunky and it was it was good. It just was a clunky kind of AA game that had some cool ideas, but just didn't have ridiculously crazy high number of players or anything, you know, to mess with. But overall, I mean, I think that it did what it needed to do. It showed more and was exciting, and I'm interested to see where it ends up, you know. Vampire was good, but it could have been better. Well, and it had some cool basic ideas tied to the vampire side of gameplay and the gameplay loop, but where it started to falter was just overall like scale and production budget, and also technically it didn't run great and had kind of hard gated load screens splintered around. But I think this looks pretty intriguing. I'm excited to see more. Definitely something to keep an eye on. And, you know, if they keep polishing and making tons of progress, it could end up being a really exciting game for next year. Just something that could pop off and do really well. We'll see. We'll see. I do get the vibe, though, that I think it's going to be pretty lean, and I think there will be a lot of variability within like quest design and stuff. But I'm also kind of bracing for it to be shorter and smaller than we may think. Don't expect something on the scale of The Witcher 3. I'm thinking something on the scale of like Vampire, which is fine. It's fine. But I think, you know, we joke that it looks like, you know, Witcher mixed with Vampire, but I think it may be more Vampire mixed with Witcher, if you get my drift. Like, I just think it's going to be tighter, it's going to be smaller, the map's going to be smaller, less POIs, which is okay, but just don't go into it with the wrong expectations, thinking it's going to be like The Witcher 3, but with vampire stuff, you know? No release date because 2026 is a minefield. Exactly. I don't blame them for being cautious, because there's going to be a lot of big AAA stuff next year, like a lot. So just be ready, you know. Was Vampire a re-release from an older generation that was released on last generations, or was it a brand new title then? It was brand new, but it launched on PS4. I think it's like June 5th, 2018. And it landed like 7 out of 10. You know, it landed in the like C range, which is probably fair, especially for launch. But if we go down and we see some of those mixed ones, you also get your fair share of limited exploration, as well as all you can loot mentality. That's more constricting than helpful. Vampire is very ambitious, presents a lot of cool and interesting ideas, but it just doesn't quite hit its mark. Compelling macabre adventure let down by so-so combat. Despite a strikingly different premise, from Life is Strange studio Don't Nod, the team's expertise in characterization and world building dovetail neatly into this vampire romp. Yeah, the combat just wasn't great, and you know, it was fine, but it had some really cool and clever ideas. It just didn't really nail the execution of all of it, which is, again, it's fine. It's fine. It was still a good game, one you should check out.
He took my thing!